It is true that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but I've always thought that this motor was a pretty good looking outboard. And look at that rich green, a little bit deeper, a little bit of a richer texture even than the mercury green of the same era. And the decals with the reds and the yellows and a little bit of orange working in there. And look at where it says shift. The emphasis, kind of almost like a cartoon speech burst, you know, one of those like pow and whammo on the Batman cartoons. Well, maybe I'm stretching a little bit there, but that's what it looked like to me. See where it says 1 to 16? That was an informal model designation. 1 mile an hour to 16 miles an hour. That's how this motor got that nomenclature there. And some of the other Scott Atwaters, depending on the size, I think the 7.5 was 1 to 20 or something like that. But anyhow, look at the shift lever on the side. I wanted to show you something there. A lot of engineers working at Scott Atwater during this era, they all had to have something to do. A little cable there operated by the shift lever, and when I put it in reverse, you can see that this piece goes down to lock the motor so it doesn't kick up. Here is, can you see that little valve there? I probably should move the thing around. Hold on, let me go around the other side of the motor here. We're taking a quick spin around the motor, and there it is, a little valve. You open that and the gas will drain out of a tube that we saw before. Isn't that EPA friendly? Right into the old lake there, your excess gas. But you didn't want that in the trunk of your car. This is a Scott Atwater model 497, 1949, 5 horsepower. First year of the forward neutral reverse shift. Johnson outboards wanted to be the first, and they did in fact have a 10 horsepower shift motor, but Scott Atwater kind of surprised everybody by having their full line as forward neutral and reverse motors with a traditional kind of shift lever. You can see it right there, as opposed to the Johnson QD, which was a 10 horsepower shift motor in 1949, and their shift was on the front cowling. Ultimately, most of the gear shift motors would have adopted the Scott Atwater position there, kind of on the side. I got this motor in about 1965 or 66. My local Johnson dealer in Simsbury, Connecticut, Charles Murray Company, had repaired this motor for somebody in the early 60s, and then the guy never picked it up. And there was a tag on the motor that said, "Not responsible for outboard motors left here after 30 days from service call," or whatever the heck it was. So what that meant was that the thing had been there for a number of years. The guy called his attorney, the fellow who, it's Charles Murray, who owned the dealer, and the attorney apparently said, "Well, give it to a kid. That's how you can get rid of it." So he called my dad and said, "Would your son be interested in this motor? I just want to give it to him. I know he's interested in old outboards." And actually, this wasn't all that old at the time. But we went down to the dealership on a Saturday morning. I remember I was really excited, and we loaded it up into my dad's Saab 3-cylinder 2-stroke Model 92 or whatever that car was. I think it was a Model 92 or 96 or something. And gee, it's worked really well since that time, because Murray had tuned it up for whoever left it there and never came to show it up. So I have not used this in probably about 10 years. We checked for spark. It has some. We're going to give it a try. I don't know if the water pump's any good. It's probably relatively original, and we're gonna take it out on Lake Champlain a little while and see if it runs. Here we are on the high seas of Lake Champlain, out near Ligonier Point in Willsboro, New York. 1949 Scott Atwater. See if it goes. See if it pumps water. I'm going to put the mag lever right around start. Going to hit the choke. I'm going to let off the choke. We just filled it up, maybe some gas, enough gas is in the carburetor, and it doesn't like richness. Or maybe it's not going to run. Come on. Let me try a choke again. I'm sure I flooded it. Huh. Hey! Persistence pays off sometimes in the old outboard business. Here we go. See if it pumps water. I think I had flooded it. What do you know?